be able to get this dive off, and they executed this beautifully.
I mean, Boogie making sure to use all the lockdown that he has from this Maokai. And even when Wild Turtle has to use the summoners to flash away, they have that patience. They know that Boogie can't dish enough damage back to be able to really make anything of the tail end.
Yeah, I mean, only bummer from this for the side of TSM is that Chime ended up walking away with 3 kills. So this is a plump cow that we have on the Rift right now that Golden Guardians might be looking to hunt later.
Isn't it better when your cows are plump?
I mean, it's nice
what you're planning to do with the cows.
Nice when you get a shutdown on you, you know? Maybe Golden Guardians can look to find that a little bit later. So it is a 1k Goldie for TSM off some of the plays they made early. Golden Guardians were able to snag the Dragon on the back side of that. But still, a lot of the time they've been able to buy for this Maokai to not get invaded early has been nice. Now Boogie, he's going to show up mid, help Insanity a little bit.
Gory on the Azir has the range to be able to step back, and Golden Guardians had previously gotten that Dragon, so even though there was that skirmish on the bot side, when you're able to make sure that you get the follow-up kill onto the enemy jungler, GG can make that play towards it first to keep some semblance of control here at 6.5 minutes, just about 1,000 gold up for TSM because of the kill pressure that they have been executing on the bot side.
And not only that, but at least where they've denied gold for Golden Guardians, you know, setting that Aphelios behind that could be big later in the game, as a lot of this comp for TSM, they're going to have to use their ultimates to really cleanly execute Aphelios later, as Insanity going for that lethality build. If you're able to combine with Maokai or Gragas to displace Aphelios, I think that's the execution that TSM will be looking for in the later fights, as at the moment Boogie, he's down a level, but still looking to get aggressive in the river. And with Insanity not, hiding, Chime missing, that's another red buff taken here with the side of TSM.
Boogie's been spending a lot of times in the Golden Guardians jungle. That's why he was technically lower on farm compared to River, but it's because of the pressure he's been asserting with these ganks and just continuously taking those buffs away from River.
And every time he's able to actually, you know, go in and spot that buy, it also buys some time for his laners to be a little bit safer, as Haunter maybe suffering a little bit from 13-12. Gragas, of course, that cooldown on the passive was increased by 4 seconds quite a bit. He's been brought quite low, and Licorice doing a really nice job on the top side where he has that free reign.
Leaping on again on the top side. Haunter has to flash to the center of his turret's protection, throws a barrel to create some distance. Licorice hopping on out though, gets the solo kill onto Haunter. Both teams knew that they had the 1v1 on the top side, and Licorice was ready with the kill.
I mean, all the action on the bot side has been good for the side of TSM, but Licorice, again, continues to step up this split, as that Gragas was a counterpick. Now, oh boy, that's deep.
Cease and desist, Insanity hit by into the back, and Chime, even though stunned up, has to keep the eyes on Gory. River has fallen. TSM, they draw the first blood of this particular fight, and they're going for more. Boogie, eyes on Gory, who shifts the sands away, but the advance is good. 2 kills for TSM onto Golden Guardians.
Chime was able to get there. TSM, they were able to have members as Licorice. He was based at the moment. TSM still fighting through their strength. Insanity, very powerful in these early skirmishes, as we're going to take another look. First off, it's a solo kill. So Licorice went for the Grasp Jax. That's a big priority on the laning. Able to actually flash the cask. Now Haunter clears out the wave. I think Licorice sidestepping that Q's big. That might have been enough damage where, yeah, he might have gotten low enough to maybe go down, but able to step away from that. And at the moment, you can see, no Licorice, it's just a 3v3. That flash brings River way too far in as Insanity. There's so much damage from the Graves here. Just barely able to scoop, or slide out of that scoop from Gory. Gets enough damage down to actually pick up a kill, and TSM, still a 1k gold lead for them, but that gold in pretty decent places as this mid-jungle for TSM gets stronger and stronger.
Also some great reactivity within those fights, because yes, the lock from Vi's ultimate had already attached Insanity, but flashing to draw him more into the center of his team.
I think it's really important here that Golden Guardians off this reset are able to find that Rift Herald, as Vijax, they should have priority for this given the draft, and especially now given that top side lead where Licorice is really taking it to Haunter up here. Should be the free Rift for GG. We'll see if they can use that to get some gold back in their pockets, as Golden Guardians, props them executing on what they drafted early. As TSM, knowing that's going on, Boogie might look to answer here on the bot side.
40 seconds to go on this Dragon. Getting some pressure in the bot lane would do tremendously for TSM to try and break some stacking from Golden Guardians. And GG's bot lane is aware of the movement, so it's the positioning right now from TSM that are really pushing GG back to offer some space to get those controls down.
2 plates traded over the turtle and quite a bit denied from Stixxay as well. As I gotta say, I know that a lot of TSM, like early in the season, there's been a lot of chatter around Insanity, just with the possibility of Ruby coming in later for TSM. And Insanity, of course, coming from Challengers. Oh, hold on, we gotta pause Hui.
Hui goes in again. Stixxay ready to dish the damage from the back line. And ultimate from Boogie gets the root onto 2 members of Golden Guardians under the turret. Insanity does come in with the teleport, but instead wants to cut off Gory, dashes over the wall. And the dragon is up now, so TSM making sure to keep themselves close to the objective at hand.
We'll snag that dragon. Of course, Stixxay still denied quite a bit, but turning that previous point before Hui got low. I think, you know, for TSM, Insanity, of course, came from Challengers with the Dignitas squad that took second or last 2 splits of Challengers, but also Haunter and Turtle, before they stepped up to TSM LCS, they were in Challengers as well. I feel like Insanity almost overshadowed some of the improvements we've seen from all the members of TSM, as Turtle has had a really good start to this split, been pleasant to see. I didn't think he was the strongest marksman that we had even when he was playing in Challengers last split, but now I think some of the champ reads he's had, some of the plays he's been making, especially on that Jinx the last couple of days, has been really good to see. And now he's going to be really empowered this game on the Xayah, having that own R for his safety, and also all the gold he's been granted early to make a big difference, as he already has a Kraken Slayer. We're going to see if Turtle can carry this game for TSM, because that top side is very Golden Guardians' favorite.
I think long-term LCS fans are always excited to see Wild Turtle step in this fashion, being able to carry for the squad in the same way he did in the early days and showing that resilience, and working alongside Haunter on the previous roster, stepping back into the LCS together. They're mixing that veterancy with a new look for the team and a potential look onto Golden Guardians that have ventured far up ahead but exit through the Tribe Brush. Even though it is warded by TSM, there's no potential follow-up.
Yeah, Hui did say he was going to try and visit the top side. It was a little bit later than what we expected, but still was looking for a potential play, because bot side right now pretty doomed with the early Kraken Slayer in the inventory for Turtle, who continues to press his lead with everyone showing in the top side. That tower is going to fall very shortly, and Golden Guardians will have to use this Rift Herald to pressure elsewhere.
And we've seen this from Golden Guardians plenty, where Stixxay takes that role, being able to hold his own in lane, so Hui can roam early. It's the way he likes to play, unlocking himself. But Chime, of course, doing the same. You're going to see that more when you have these engage picks coming in from the support position. So Turtle and Stixxay left alone, but because of that early pressure from Turtle, with everyone coming down, Boogie alongside of them, to continue pressing onto these plates, it means that TSM can knock down the first turret and keep up their pressure on this bot side.
Speaking of pressure, those going to be enough to buy space for Turtle against River, as TSM looking to support Turtle, as that is still the real point of power for TSM on the map. As Haunter down a lot of CS, but has only dropped 1 play, and that Herald actually will be forced. This is a long way from crashing, and TSM has 3 members. We could see a skirmish to just see if the Herald crashes or not.
And you can see a River charging up just to create some space, but now 2 melees, not enough range behind them to be able to poke TSM off of the approaching Rift Herald.
Turtle's too strong. He just dinged level 10. He has the Kraken Slayer. He is way up on Stixxay right now. I would love to see TSM rotate Turtle across the map. Whenever you get a marksman that's ahead, that first turret's down, go put him elsewhere. Try and get some more gold in your pockets, as looks like at the moment Turtle working his way towards the mid lane. It's tough to shove against an Azir. I know Dragon's 2 minutes away though, so I think TSM just going to put Turtle mid, try and get some mid priority, and then TSM can build some vision behind that to set up for this Dragon.
So now that we have fallen past that 14-minute mark, there's no more plates. We're starting to see some of that unlocking from lanes with the first turret down. Where do you evaluate how these teams, where they have ended up at this point in the game compared to what they're bringing forth? Because we talked a lot about River needing to have those proactive plays, Golden Guardians needing to control these objectives, but I see an even split and a gold lead for TSM.
At the moment, it feels like Golden Guardians kind of have to use this Jax to get leads elsewhere. You see how accelerated Turtle is in this game. You cannot fight the Xayah at the moment, and Golden Guardians hasn't been able to really blow any summoners or ults off of Xayah, where I was expecting to see Hui maybe fish for some Rs, at least get an ult or a cleanse out of Turtle. I would love to see Turtle actually hold that ult and cleanse instead. if that Leona ult is thrown, because he's going to need that for the Vi later. Go up in the air. Pretty good. But I think Golden Guardians, this is where they can use that Jax they have in draft to at least try and get priority in side lanes and then collapse, whereas TSM just use Maokai and Alistar, make the bouncy house, and give Xayah all the space that Xayah needs to really do the damage, because Turtle, again, so accelerated in this game.
And even though he's on a different pick than he was playing in the first 2 wins of TSM this week, it was 2 different Jinx games, it's still that same idea, right?
Yeah.
But even with some more protective capability because of that Feather Storm, still standing behind Boogie, still waiting for Chime to create that lockdown and the opportunities for him to dish out as many feathers and as much damage as possible. And with so much gold for himself ahead of the rest, Kraken Slayer completed, it's hard for Golden Guardians to step up into his range.
You see River snuck around TSM, was looking to see if Haunter actually poked his face out to catch the wave. Not going to be the case. Haunter is down quite poorly, but honestly, I would trade that lead to have all my gold on the Xayah in this game, as Golden Guardians in these fights, Leona, Azir, Vi, they will be jumping into Xayah, which is exactly what Xayah wants in these fights. So having Turtle so ahead, so valuable here for TSM, as Golden Guardians still trying to find ways to break this, and I don't think they can at this Dragon. They're going to have to drop this one, get some gold elsewhere, as they're going to try and make a point on the top side. Haunter.
And River's been hanging here for quite some time.
Nice.
Haunter thought that he was serving a solo party.
Oh.
But River flashes for the kill, ushers out a teleport
Insanity.
from TSM, but it is too little too late. Nature's Grasp from Boogie, though, catches one, catches potentially a second, cannot in time. Boogie keeps the slash onto Licorice.
TSM
Leaps on out, Huhi eating into the back line,
Ori.
and Gori's coming on in. At first, Divide does not connect, but he does not need it too, as Boogie has fallen. Huhi fallen below in HP for GG. Not enough to keep the go button going, but they feel good taking 2 away.
Good play from Golden Guardians by deciding to drop that Dragon early on. They were able to find a play elsewhere. They committed a lot to this one, as Gory actually TP'd, but they did get 2 kills. And again, playing through that strong point that they have in the map on the Jax, working out for Golden Guardians here as TSM overcommit into them, and they end up falling.
Now, we cannot look past what Licorice has been able to do on Jax in the past, and now, when setting up with the jungler, pretty darn good.
Again, Dragon's being hit right now. River says, you know what? Not going to contest that. That Xayah is way too strong. We're going to play elsewhere. Now, this Q going wide, that's enough for Insanity to think, hey, maybe I can get in and actually find some kills. I actually really like the flash over the wall to R from Boogie, and enabled him to follow up. But Licorice, this Counter-Strike, it stuns both Insanity and Boogie. And then Gory, he's like, all right, hey, TSM, they've overcommitted. I can sweep them in to get the flash off Graves. And now, when summoner spells are burned and you have Vi, it opens up the ability to make follow-up plays from Golden Guardians. So now, let's see if Hui and River can excel this game pace. As right now, River, yeah, here we go. No flash.
Or from Golden Guardians, but River is putting in work on Insanity before Licorice can even make the play. But now he's got Insanity in his crosshairs. River said, all right, you got this. You can finish him off. Take the kill, Licorice. Looking sweet on that top side.
Licorice versus Turtle. That's what this game might end up coming down to here, as each of these members very fed now at the moment. TSM, they're looking for a little bit elsewhere. They saw a couple members on the top side get some decent damage on the inner turret, but no dice as Golden Guardians continue to fight back in this game.
Yeah, in the end, River did need to come back because there's no reason for him to continue with a 2v1 on top when TSM were pushing down mid.
Yep.
So with a full fledge of numbers here across mid, everyone but Licorice, GG, keep that pressure from pushing too hard upon them. Now TSM looking to make the rotation to keep Licorice from retreating, uses the explosive cast to zone him out. Licorice already using his leaping strike. Haunter venturing on forward, the counter-strike winding up, a Chime knocks him back. 3 members onto Licorice with a Rift Herald going down bot side, ushered forth by Gory. Licorice is totally okay drawing some of that pressure if his team is making plays on the opposite side of the map.
They are, but that still was a shutdown going over to Turtle, who's already at 2 items. So again, Turtle just got bigger off that play. Yes, Licorice was able to take down that inner. They'll get a couple crashes from this Herald too, which is all right. That could be more gold they can clean up later, but at the moment, Turtle is going to be so tough to deal with in these fights. Again, everyone has to jump into this Xayah, and Turtle has everything at his disposal to do everything he can to get TSM over the finish line. He's almost already towards that 3rd item, which looking like a Bloodthirster in the inventory. Look at 6A, hasn't even finished his 2nd as Turtle so accelerated in this game.
The Gale Force and the Kraken Slayer for Turtle, and we'll see how long it takes for Stixay to be able to catch up and even the odds. As now past 20 minutes, the Baron has spawned, which means that you have to draw some of the vision attention from both of the teams. Already setting up on this top side, Golden Guardians taking that scuttle. But still over a minute and 25 seconds time before that next dragon stacks. It's 1 dragon for Golden Guardians, 2 for TSM, so soul point for TSM, but one that Golden Guardians can't afford to give away if they see an advantage anywhere else.
I would love to see in the next minute if Hui just maybe tries to fish to find an R on the turtle, maybe get a cleanse or an ult off. If you do it fast enough, Leona would have ult back for that dragon fight. Not going to be the case though, as GG will take the resets 1 minute before the objective. Will this be the fight that Golden Guardians continues to try and play into this Xayah that is so far ahead this game? As TSM to show out mid, they're going to take the bases as well, and tension arises on the Rift as we could see our first big 5v5.
TSM was working towards a formidable gold lead for some time that has now been shrunken down below that 1,000 mark off of what Golden Guardians were able to achieve, both with Rift Herald and just out of some of these fights. But 30 seconds to go onto that dragon, and no one has spent much attention on the bot side to start moving for some of these wards. You saw that everything was kind of along that river line, nobody feeling that agency to be able to move past it.
This is where Maokai is so powerful though, taking control of this area. Now Golden Guardians, they have to play into the Maokai. Very difficult to walk through these saplings as it has been the demonic embrace rush for Boogie, so those saps will be hit pretty hard on the side of Golden Guardians. Licorice does have some bot push. You can see Hui, he's actually channeling a recall. If he bases with Stixay, this will be dragon seated as the bot lane of Golden Guardians there in base, and this will be a freebie for TSM.
TSM starting that up and taking it down. Again, Golden Guardians seem like they felt okay giving over that soul point. It's not do or die territory just yet. Still a bit too early for them to have set up around Baron and make some kind of trade in that regard, but just not wanting to lose out on the angles that Boogie would be able to take, because both of these teams had all of their ultimates ready, all of their summoners ready, and that's a lot to try to break through on the side of TSM.
And with everything being up, I really feel like that favors TSM. The ability to play defensive with Maokai and Xayah. We saw Golden Guardians, when they made that first positive play in the top side, River was instantly able to get something else because Insanity was missing Flash. Golden Guardians has to make plays to just try and bleed out tools from TSM. The fact that none of that has happened, credit to TSM for A, playing a controlled game, but also Golden Guardians, they have to push the pace. They have to make this a little bit bloodier, because when cooldowns are down going up against Fly Leona, it's very easy to execute if you're on the side of Golden Guardians, but with everything being up, you can force Golden Guardians to overcommit like we've seen before, and that's been really good for TSM, as playing in the Maokai Xayah is so difficult.
Because you look at River on Vi, what does he want to do? Go in with the ultimate into a back target. What does Hui want to do on Leona? Solar Flare, go in with the Zenith Blade. What does Licorice want to do? Leap in, right? So exactly as you're saying, if you expel all of those resources when TSM have their engage and disengage ready, you can put yourself in a very bad position. But that's why right now it's more of an establishment of warding up here on the red side jungle. River, he wants to contest around the blue buff, but can't step up. Multiple members of TSM at the ready.
I mean, this is the problem right now for Golden Guardians. That's actually a terrible line. We're going to try that one more time here. We're drawn on the stage. Look at those items.
Wow, that's some good drawn right there.
I don't know about that. I might have to, cede the mouse over to you. But
as a left-handed person at the desk, I don't think that's going to work with this mouse.
But that's a full item that Wild Turtle has over the Aphelios. That bot focus for TSM, getting the goal where it needs to be, has been so good for them. And again, Golden Guardians, they have to rely on Licorice stretching out the map in the sides, as at the moment they actually might try and pull TSM to them as Haunter spotted bot. This is being burned. It's already half TSM.
Oh, okay.
TSM? Yeah, check it. It's gone.
Licorice is
no!
walking towards the objective. TSM, they didn't have any vision through it, and now the fight on the opposite tried to strip that purple from Golden Guardians, and Hugi might lose it. Boogie goes in the back with the twisted advance, and Licorice swings away to get a lock on the chime, who flashes on forward. Lots of hits from Gory. The damage is good. Licorice coming out. Stixay manages to blast one down. No turtle here for no more damage. Stixay one into lock eyes with Gory. Upon the members of TSM. Triple kill. Stixay with the Quadro wants to get the Penta. Oh, Chime, you better give it on over, buddy. Stixay
brings his teammate back from Golden Guardians Academy as this team fight, everything falling apart for TSM. We take a second look. Wild Turtle, he's all the damage. But look at that. First off, burns the cleanse to get through that ult from Hui, so that tool's gone. Then Licorice able to buy so much time with his stopwatch, and Stixay from the side lands a huge ultimate, gets the root afterwards as Turtle didn't go airborne. The step out of that, Stixay takes him down. No one finds the carries for Golden Guardians, and Stixay, he was free firing this entire fight over the wall. Great positioning from him as he picks up a pentakill against his old teammate, and all of a sudden Golden Guardians, this Aphelios, went from being behind the entire game to now being more than online.
How many pentakills has Stixay gotten this year? It's been an impressive number, that's for sure, and off of some great setup from Golden Guardians. I mean, Cubby, you were saying it. Wild Turtle, that's a problem for TSM. And once he went down in that fight, ooh, it felt over.
Best on yet, both ADs now at 3 items as things are back to being even. Things way better now for the side of GG as, oh boy, Boogie, he's down.
As soon as Hui gets that lock, GG's there with the follow-up. You can tell they're feeling themselves after that Baron play. And now are ready to keep that pressure up across these lanes. Gory on the bot side to keep that empowered wave pushing forward, matched by Hanser, who does not have the teleport if GG put too much pressure elsewhere.
TSM, they need to wait. They're going to burn so much gold from this Baron as so many objectives were standing for Golden Guardians to take off this. And until TSM gets that Radiant Virtue through for Maokai, I mean, they're going to shred like paper against this Aphelios that all of a sudden went from being a full item behind to even now with the Xayah after that pentakill. And this game went from being so TSM favors, like, how do you fight against this Xayah? How do you fight into this Maokai, take the map back from him? To now Golden Guardians, everything is at their disposal as they're going to stop the Soul. And that's a big gold lead as Golden Guardians have turned the tides in everything on the Rift.
There was no way for TSM to get to this Dragon first because of that push after acquiring that Baron. They are stepping forward to see if they can find some kind of follow-up fight again onto Golden Guardians, but when they tried that on the other side of the map, it didn't work out too well for them.
And TSM, they committed 5 that we try and overtake that bot side jungle, that enable Licorice to take down half of that top lane inhibitor, as Licorice has been strong all game and will continue to be strong in the side lane on the Jax. Almost has that Zanyas completed. It's going to give him more survivability in the team fight as TSM. And Turtle still's got his sums available. You got to fight around him. I think that maybe just praying that GG overcommits into you is kind of where things are at for this game. Turned on a dime so quickly from Golden Guardians. I mean, props to them for sneaking that Baron. Really caught TSM off guard.
And even looking at the map state right before that, the way that TSM were so focused on warding elsewhere and just not really able to get that vision onto the top side, maybe not expecting Golden Guardians to go for such an early play on that Baron as well. But their commitment, knowing they had the damage to burn the objective down, worked out well for them. Hanser targeting Hui right now. Expels the explosive cast. Moonlight Vigil from Stixay so that TSM cannot follow up.
Turtle holds on to his spells there. Gonna take the damage. He will heal up off of BT, so actually well done from Turtle to not burn everything there, realizing that he was safe. It is at least one thing taken away from Golden Guardians. TSM has the opportunity to maybe try and fight while Stixay is still down that flash. They have some tools available to try and make a play on him. As now, we talked the entire game about Wild Turtle being the problem. Stixay himself, now matching Turtle is a problem for TSM to deal with, especially with everyone jumping onto the Aphelios.
And I will say, in terms of this game, another thing just to put a little feather in the cap of the way Golden Guardians were able to handle this, it's a split, Cubby, where games have been so fast. Teams snowballing from so early. And when they get that lead, they just do so much with it. So the fact that Golden Guardians, even though losing some of those early advantages for themselves, were able to get things in a neutral position and then beyond that extend a lead, now at 4,000 gold, about to be 30 minutes. That is impressive for them to counter the trend of what we've been seeing.
Yeah, we're going to have to see some clean bouncy houses here from TSM. On to Stixay if they want to try and survive. See Hanser, we stay able to fight a little bit more on this side lane.
Now has
Turtle's here.
Turtle. Licorice goes into stasis, pops back up. Turtle throwing it down. More golden to be thrown by Hanser. Good. Blast cone good. Licorice. Huh. What a clean exit, my friend.
Oh, I thought he was going down there, but hey, going golden and avoiding the rip, that might have been the big difference in getting Licorice out. And while that was going on the top side, we had Insanity falling solo to River on the Vi. Now, big thing as well, Golden Guardians, they got the flash out of Turtle, who tried to go for that kill. So now this Baron, so dangerous for TSM to even walk in. With Haunter on the bot side, they're just going to give it.
Again, wow. GG on it. And this time TSM just have to watch. They got the ward there. They know what's happening, and there ain't nothing they can do about that Red Bull Baron buff, the second acquired for GG.
Yeah, this Golden Guardians comp now online as is here. Is it 3 items? Thelios is fed. TSM, things were going so well for them, at least earlier on. But once that control is lost, you can see River, holy cow, just melting through Insanity. Who, of course, has that lethality build going for the squishies, now has an LER to boot. I think he needed that a little bit earlier against River as he just shredded that Graves.
Absolutely annihilated him and is ready to do so again with ultimates back up for both of these teams. Red and white guns for Stixxay too. TSM are at that position where they're so forced into their base. Licorice still pushing with teleport on the bot side. That bot turret is fairly low, so he'll be able to push it off while all 5 members of TSM attempt to hold against here. Gory responding with the ultimate onto Boogie, who also throws out the Nature's Grasp for himself, but teleport coming in from Golden Guardians means that Licorice in the center of the wall swings away, bats him down, cuts down 3. Golden Guardians making a fight, but Turtle with lots of damage takes down the double kill. Look at him go, and even with the shifting sands forwards, Turtle manages to escape. Licorice really close to getting some distance gapped onto him, but it's just Turtle. It's just Turtle, and it's found. It's 3 members of Golden Guardians. Featherstorm attempts, gets the 1-for-1 trade, but it's an ace for Golden Guardians on the back of that fight. A tremendous push for them in those moments with Baron buff still in tow. Can't stop, won't stop. Golden Guardians reap only victories.
4 wins in a row for Golden Guardians as they find the perfect week. And that was a close game. Again, I thought TSM did a nice job at controlling things early. That Xayah was a full item ahead of Stixxay and that Baron fight, but it didn't matter. Golden Guardians, they were able to sneak that Baron. Stixxay got a pentakill, and it felt like the game went from going, you know, pretty good control for TSM instantly into full control for Golden Guardians. They got so much gold off that Baron. Stixxay was back in the game, and everything was smooth sailing from there.
It shows so much of Golden Guardians' growth from the very, very early weeks of this season, where sometimes if down, you get a little rattled. It can be difficult to keep yourself collected, but ever since Gory came in spring, it feels like this squad has worked as a unit, able to push back against leads that their opponents get. I mean, TSM spent so many resources on that bot side to get Turtle into a strong position. A full item up on the enemy ADC. But as soon as Stixxay was able to even out that gold, it felt donezo.
And for Golden Guardians, I think a big part of the difference from Spring 2 has been the form that Licorice has had in the start of summer. He was scaling into the Spring playoffs. He wasn't playing his best in the regular season, but Licorice was the point of power for Golden Guardians in the top side this entire game. He was able to help make it pay off in the end. As we take another look at the final fight, Stixxay again was so safe behind the Azir in the front line. This really for every fight this game, as TSM just couldn't find the angles. I love the aggression from Stixxay too. Did end up falling in the end, but hey, his teammates, he had him covered here in the back half. Made sure this one went in GG's favor.
That's all that matters in the end. Everyone working collectively through. I also love seeing who he continue to work back onto those engaged supports. Obviously, Rel was a very exciting one because he created such an identity with Rel when she first came into the equation. But Leona, I mean, Leona's my favorite, so I'm always going to be happy when I see my favorite champion played. But also just from a very team-oriented perspective. Her kit is so clear in enabling everyone to be able to follow up, and when they do so effectively, you get a pentakill for your bot laner.
He's been looking really good early. I love, his ability to roam on the map, and I feel like this meta shift's been big.
It has. But for those at home, Viva la LCS! LCS en Español is the official Spanish language stream of the LCS. This new viewing experience is live on LLA's Twitch and YouTube channels right now. Scan the QR code or go to lolesports.com to learn more. But for now, here in the studio, we are joining Stixxay at the lounge for our Verizon post-game interview.
Hello, and welcome back to the lounge. We are joined by the victorious Stixxay. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a pretty cool game. Didn't start great for you. How scared were you of the 3-kill Alistar?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of reacted poorly to like what they did early game. They had a pretty good early game plan of like pressuring us bottom and diving off the level 1 invade. And like thankfully, Alistar got all the kills, because I think if Zaya got the kills, it would have been really difficult. But I was telling my team that, I was like, guys, don't worry, Alistar has all the kills. So, you know, it's going to be okay.
We're going to fast forward ahead to kind of the break point of the game. Obviously, your pentakill, which is this week's Grubhub delivering the win. Not only is Grubhub delivering the win on LCS broadcast, they're delivering all of your favorite food to keep you satisfied during a great day of matches. Keep yourself fed and use code LCSSummer for $10 off your delivery order of $15 or more. For new diners, terms apply. We're also going to be listening into your comms on this one. We are. You can't hear it because you lived it.
If they do,
We got it.
Can you fight after? Yeah, we can.
Okay, Alistar, just hit the front.
Play slow.
Slowly,
Yeah.
block.
I don't see it. They're gonna go on me. Oh no, I'm okay. Braga's TPing.
Yeah.
Frames.
Hitting the front.
Braga's TPing somewhere.
AD.
Nice, Trevor. We can fight.
Yeah.
Jaya dead, guys. Oh, Grapes. Nice.
Okay, go.
Braga's
Go on,
flash. All no flash. You got it. We won. Let's go, Trevor. I get it, bro. Come on. Nice. Pentakill. Gragas multi-grapes pleasure. Okay.
That's so funny. And just you being like, yep, got it. Hitting front line, doing this, doing that. And then everyone's like, wait, pentakill angle.
I mean, I don't know if you guys like watch our MSI comms too, but it's like the same thing. My team's going crazy, and I'm just like stone cold, just like trying to focus on what's ahead.
Is it because you're focused on, or just different energy levels in general? Or
I
like
think
when
it's
you're
just
in the
like
moment?
different ways of expressing, like,
Right, yeah.
in the game. So.
All right, well, cool. Biggest pet peeve, leashing my jungler. Nice. I just
Oh,
learned
what the? We
something
put
new
little
about,
facts
yeah,
on there?
I just learned something new about you.
Oh, I'm shocked. The AD carry player wants to get to lane for prio right away, huh?
Yeah, but actually, like yesterday and today, I was leashing my jungler, and so I was just joking with her. Oh, I love leashing for you, River, and he always laughs and says, "Thank you."
Don't let him see this segment. Then knows that you're lying.
I know. In terms of Golden Guardians, I think more holistically, obviously you guys didn't have the start to the split that you wanted, but you've looked incredibly formidable across your past few wins. So what changed on the team? MSI hangover, adjusting to the new patch. What was up with that?
I mean, honestly, it might sound like kind of cliche, or like it sounds kind of weird because we're all such experienced players, but it does take some time to like get used to the stage again that you're playing on. So we were definitely playing a bit out of our element in our first couple of games. And as we played more and more, you know, we talked, all right, let's be a little more loose during the games and stuff like that. So we're just getting more used to, you know, kind of just being ourselves on the stage and not being afraid to make plays and stuff like that.
I have to ask this question. I'm sorry if it sounds rude, but Golden Guardians has never finished above 500 in the regular season. It's like the modern day curse, because I was on curse back in the day when we never broke fourth. So like, I know what it's like. Is this something that you guys are aware of? Like, we need to finish above 500 this split, or do you guys not care about it at all?
We're very aware of it. I think we've mentioned it every day. So when we were,
it's just like the curse.
Yeah, we were 0-2, and then I think we when we rounded it out to 2-2, we said, "Oh, we're on track, guys." For the 9-9. So
yeah.
whenever we do that, our GM just kind of looks at us with like a glaring face.
Yeah, no, I think it's good to set these kinds of things, keep everyone focused.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was wondering if it was coming from an era specifically, if he's just sitting there being like, we gotta get those 10 wins.
No,
guys.
but whenever we talk about it, he's always just laughing, and I think he's just praying that we can actually get above 50-50.
Nice. Well, congratulations on the win today. You guys are looking really, really strong. Unfortunately, we have to toss to a commercial break, but IMT and 100 Thieves are on the other side of it.
Just anyone on the one.
There it is. My ears are bleeding already.
Gragas TP somewhere.
AD?
Nice, Trevor. We can fight.
Yeah.
Jaya dead, guys. Oh, grapes. Nice.
Okay, go.
Gragas
Go on,
flash. All no flash. You got it. We won. Let's go, Trevor.
Oh, Chime, you better give it on over, buddy! Stixie wrapping it up with a
many splits did it take for Doublelift to win his first LCS title?
I'm gonna smurf this.
Which team won the most regular season games in a single split?
Mark is the worst host of all time.
How many roster moves happened this offseason?
You guys suck.
Hello, welcome back to Are You Smarter Than LCS Analyst Kickoff for Summer Edition. Woo! All right, we got 100 Thieves going up against the LCS Analysts. If you've never seen this show before, it's a game show where I'll be asking questions. They'll be coming up to answer them one at a time. There'll be a couple rounds of that before we do a difficult final question, which will decide the entire game.
It validates everything we've done before.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's called Catch Up XP. We've officially named that segment now.
Unlucky.
So let's get our first two candidates up.
John, you got this.
Bro, we'll see. You got a face on.
Are you scared of Emily?
Oh, okay.
The first category is things that happened in the offseason, such as MSI.
Okay.
All right. First question. How many games did North America win at MSI?
3.
Wrong. Okay, entire enemy team.
Do you want to confer? Because there's the playing games.
They don't have 10 seconds?
No, that's if you go first, you're expected to know
I
the
didn't
answer.
know the rules, man.
I swear to God, did I not tell you guys?
you didn't tell us.
What?
Give us the point back.
Yeah.
11.
Not right. It's going
Okay,
back to you guys.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even know how many games there were. I don't know the format. I don't know what's going on.
All right, give me your answer.
8.
Wrong.
Wrong.
12 is right.
Okay, any smurfing though, who did they beat?
They beat a lot of play-in teams and then each other.
Okay, I'll go.
Get up there.
Alrighty. Second question. Come on. How many roster moves happened this offseason? This is a hard one. Overall, teams that have new players counts as a roster move.
How many players changed?
Yep.
And counting players that came into the league.
If the player is now playing on a team that they weren't on before, it counts as a roster move. So, like, for example, like Vulcan left one team, went to another. That would be one move because he's on the new team. Hopefully
What
it gets
happens
easier.
if I buzz his buzzer?
I mean, you'll lose and they'll get the
This one's ridiculous because you can't manage like 10
teams in your head. Yeah. All right, go to your teams and then run up and press the button when you have an answer.
Because if Vulcan moves to one team, that doesn't count as 2 changes. That counts as 1.
Okay, we got it. I swear we got it. Go press the button.
Okay.
My team is very confident.
Okay, give me the answer.
16.
Wrong.
You guys f***ing suck. 13.
All right.
Wrong.
Wait, what?
No, okay, you guys were too low. You guys are too high.
Wait, what did they say?
They said 15.
Oh,
You said
14.
14. Oh! Analysts are so smart, dude. All right, last question of the round. NRG is rejoining the league. They previously played in 2016. Name a player that played on one of those rosters from the 2016.
Impact?
Impact is on there. Now, I will say, I want to go back and forth to see how many people can remember.
Do I get to keep going until I get it wrong?
No, we'll just start going back and forth. Give them a chance to bounce back.
Oh, Bucio! You were the wrong one for this question.
I know more.
I'm not even alive then.
All right, we're going to go until people can't get one. I'm going to go rapid fire now. Give me a name.
GBM.
GBM is on there.
Kiwi Kid.
Kiwi Kid is on there.
Alltech.
Alltech is on there.
Santorin.
Santorin is on there.
Wrong.
Santorin is on there. Santorin is 5, 4, 3.
Rush.
Rush was not on there.
Bro.
All right, they ran out. It was until someone couldn't answer.
Oh, nice!
So there we go. That's going to do it for this round. We'll be seeing more of 100 Thieves in the Analyst later on in the show for more Are You Smarter Than an LCS Analyst?
Welcome back to the LCS. I actually saw that episode filmed live, like before it's cut down. And I just kind of got stuck watching it because I was so engaged, specifically on Closer's reactions, like the one you just saw. Whenever they got something wrong, he was so emotive.
I got engaged in like just seeing Azale get like gaslit throughout the entire episode. And they're just like, nah, no, actually the points go this way. It's like, or like, this isn't right. It's like, he's like, come on, man. It's like, let me win.
Yeah, trolling's part of it when it comes to the games of trivia, but not the games of the stage. Immortals and 100 Thieves, I think, definitely putting a very serious step forward after less than enjoyable weeks for both of them.
Yeah, 3-game slide for Immortals and a disappointing 4-game slide for 100 Thieves, as I feel like they were on the top of the roller coaster after that, like, you know, deathless win against FlyQuest, and then it's only gone down from there, unfortunately, for them. So look to pick it back up here against Immortals, as honestly, each team at least have an opportunity to end this week with at least one win.
both as far as what happened from that very first game until now. You were just talking about 100 Thieves and their victory over FlyQuest. I think that's the epitome of week 1 reactions. Oh, based on how they performed in spring, this is defying our expectations. But then, of course, FlyQuest since has faltered, as well as 100 Thieves. But looking to try and turn things around against Immortals, who did manage to surpass expectations in week 1, I would say, picking up some wins specifically off of the strength of their bot lane that's been building upon synergy they had back in their academy days on TSM.
Yeah, I know that, like, for Treats, he's, like, tweeted out earlier in the split, like, hey, you know, we're going to be buffing up Tactical, or, like, you know, he's kind of like, you know, some person I'm kind of teaching, leading, and I gotta say, Tactical has looked a lot better so far this split, but going up against Doublelift, always quite the test in the bot lane here for Immortals, and we'll see if Tactical is up to the challenge.
Which emphasizes the wild journey that Tactical has been on since joining the LCS. If anyone can remember, back to 2020, when he made his debut in the LCS, it was stepping into Doublelift's shoes on Team Liquid, and there was a lot of pressure on him at the time, which made his explosive moments all the more impressive. Of course, since then, has had some struggles, has had some splits where he hasn't shown those same moments of brightness, but as of what we've seen thus far from Immortals, he's getting excited once again and showing that play on the stage.
Yeah, and I feel like that Aphelios ban, Tactical has deserved, as he's had 4 plays in the Aphelios. I know that Immortals only has 2 wins so far this split, but I think he's looked really good on the Aphelios for the games that he has had it in his hands, so will be taken away, and it will be a first pick Azir for Balulu. Not a champ that I know Balulu for. I like when he's able to go in, especially like from challengers, but going up against Quid, who Quid faced Eminez and Jojo Pyun in the mid lane. I feel like that's a true baptism into the LCS, and unfortunately he did get baptized, as he has a 0.58 KDA after the first 2 games. Not a hot start for Quid, but has an opportunity to pick it up now.
I very much enjoyed the segment that Jat did highlighting Quid getting the classic welcome to NA experience. Not just coming in late into the split, but having the enemy teams very much prioritizing playing into that. And Eminez being one of them who had experienced the same thing in spring. So we'll have to see if he can shake that off, take the welcome in stride, and show some of the strength that he can offer for 100 Thieves after a bit more time formated with this squad. And we don't know yet what he's going to be picking, but we do know that he will be facing that Azir on the opposite side. We got the Ornn in the Lovers bot lane here for 100 Thieves. Another run back of that bot lane for Doublelift and Busio specifically.
Yeah, and I know, you know, Busio is someone that I loved watching in Academy, now Challengers. He won our most valuable prospect last summer. Got the opportunity to catch up with Busio before the games today, and he said, you know, for this split, you know, Soren Bjergsen was a really big voice for 100 Thieves, and he's kind of working on figuring out how he can contribute more as a leader. It's something that he was working on when he was on that Academy team, especially in spring when he was actually teammates with Kenvi going way back. So I always love watching Busio. His Rakan is good. Didn't find the win on it yesterday, but hoping for some different luck today.
There are a lot of names in the LCS now that did churn through that 100 Thieves at the time Academy and Next System with Kenvi, Busio, and Tenacity and the whole shebang, now kind of being filtered onto different squads, as Kenvi and Busio are now opponents within this particular match. But interestingly enough, on the Immortals side, Kenvi and Solo are opting into that Sejuani plus Renekton combo that we have seen so much Renekton in the LCK, for instance. Golden Guardians brought this combo out yesterday, and it's something that more teams are indexing into.
Renekton is always lane dominant, but when you pair it with Sejuani, then you actually get some real kill threat in the top side. And this is a much different approach for IMT, as Solo, he's been on Ornn and Sion duty the entire split, but Ornn duty now goes over to Someday, which 100 Thieves fans will think very fondly of, especially thinking back to their championship and finals runs, as Someday was always big on the Ornn, as marksman bans are the focus for 100 Thieves, and then IMT taking away some of the champ pool for closer. Don't want his hands to be on the Viego. See what he ends up actually playing into that Sejuani as mid or jungle on the board here for 100 Thieves. See which one they decide to lock in first.
And no matter what we do see closer on, which it looks like it's going to be the Wukong, we're still looking to him to be the leading voice for 100 Thieves. In fact, when I stepped backstage between the last game and this one, I heard him finishing up the huddle, counting 1, 2, 3, let's go in. And people have talked about, is he the one leading the call through the entirety of the game when they falter in late game? Is that something coming from closer? Is it something from the squad in totality? So a lot of pressure on the championship caliber jungler to lead this squad in a victory against IMT, who are looking to pull off a result for themselves that's favorable.
All right, well, Jinx Milio, so getting a hold of that range in the bot lane. as it will be Ari locked in for Quid. So playmaking across bot and mid for 100 Thieves. They're going to be looking to get ahead early, whereas the strength for IMC in that early game will be on that top side, trying to get that Azir and Jinx to the later stages with Emilio, where Emilio, of course, did see some nerfs on this patch, but hey, that W, that range extension on Jinx, still going to be rather dire for 100 Thieves. They aren't able to have a lead early in this draft.
Pulling back on some of the damage capability of that passive and fired up, but still plenty of utility to go around for Milio when it comes to protecting that carry and empowering her to carry just in that way in these fights for Immortals. But it's going to be kind of a difficult one to predict with these two, considering a lot of it has been performance driven and how unified they seem as a team, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like 100 Thieves, like they had that great game against FlyQuest, but they haven't been able to really get anything going since then. I know, again, catching up with Bucio before this, he's like, yeah, obviously, you know, this split hasn't been going the way we want, but hey, a win here would at least be some momentum going into next week. And Immortals, I think a win here is really important for them because their schedule next week, C9, EG, Fly. And personally, I know the Fly's been on its slide, but I would not want to give them a week to actually bring things together. I would rather face them this week. So Immortals win could be very important for them here, looking at their strength of schedule moving forward.
And the strength of schedule is compounded rather by just how intense it is to finish up these weeks. 3 games a pop. You go winless in a week, it really affects not just your mentality, but place in the standings. So we'll see if Immortals or 100 Thieves can feel better on the latter end of this game, but you know, needed a little more time to gear up for it.
That's a bummer of a game. Bummer, you know, we got to pause this here, but hey, more time to at least go over what we're expecting out of each of these teams. As I'm curious for Immortals, a very different read for them, going for that tank, or I should say that aggression in the top side instead of the tank for Solo. As of course, we had a sign earlier. Solo, you know, being 30 still finds Solo bolas, but also Cyan or Ornn. Unfortunately, you know, Solo had to break that. You know, change things up a little bit.
It's funny because obviously Solo has curated a very specific identity. This tank player, he's very supportive for the rest of the team. And I feel like because often when he steps into a roster, it's the middle of a split or the middle of a year, and we don't see a full split from him. So he's kind of on that tank duty the entire time, which is a very common strategy when you're bringing in a player late in that top side. But now, on this team, the start of the split, we're already a few games deep into it. Do we get to see some of that switching up of strategy? And in this case, it is the Renekton. So it almost feels like there's a bit more of a heavy eye on Solo on how he performs on this pick, since he's usually the one on the Ornn, which someday we'll have this time around. 100 Thieves not able to find anything with the aggressive look.
And I think for 100 Thieves this game, a lot of it's going to come down to this early Herald, where I expect 100 Thieves to be favored, given that they have the Ahri Wukong, Zyra Rakan. So I want to see if 100 Thieves can use some of their early team fight tools to, again, build up a gold lead. Because Ornn scales really nicely, but going up against Azir plus Jinx, if you are able to protect them, that damage later could be deadly, and they will out-damage the carries for 100 Thieves if they aren't able to find a lead early. So Closer, to no surprise, actually playing through, or pathing to bot, whereas Kenby, to some surprise, looks like he will be clearing top to bot as well, leaving Solo to his own device.